7 million years of the history of mankind on the verge of extermination that can fall at the hands of its creator's gods. And now there is a meeting of the gods after 1,000 years at which they discuss the issue of the existence of mankind, and whether the gods will allow humanity to exist for another 1,000 years, or put an end to their existence. God Shiva votes in order to exterminate humanity, to which the goddess Aphrodite supports his decision, and here the real vote begins. The elder decides to put an end to humanity, but the Valkyrie named Brunhilde suddenly bursts for the meeting and protests against the decision of the gods. Some of the gods, including Odin, tells her to not interfere. She offers the gods to show their mercy, subjecting people to a test, the battle between the gods and humanity, Ragnarok. This tournament is one-on-one between 13 gods and 13 people. Will win the side that will win 7 victories. But as soon as humanity will lose 7 times, extermination is inevitable. On the other hand, if humanity wins, they will be given another 1,000 years of peace. But this law has never been applied since the birth of mankind itself, for a person cannot defeat God. The gods protest and express their dissatisfaction. Brunhild ridicules from the decision that the gods are afraid of the forces of mankind, and that this is ordinary, the fear of failure. Some gods got angry, and the elder decides to fight humanity. Thus the last battle between the gods and humanity was approved. The elder orders Brunhild to choose fighters to the side of mankind, and reminds her of her lower status due to mixed blood, half blood of man and half god. Meanwhile, the battle between God and man will soon begin at the Valhalla arena. Heimdall trumpets to Gjallarhorn, and declares the rules of the battle between God and the human. Who dies first, manner the god, then the battle ends. In the first battle, the representative of the gods, the strongest Scandinavian god with his electric hammer Thor, and his hammer Mjolnir. On the part of mankind, the most fierce fighter of people, Luibui and Thor meets one-on-one. Heimdall welcomes the god Thor, and also his enemy Luibui. The crowd rejoices, and the battle will begin. Both show their skills. Assistant of Luibui even sheds tears. Brunhild evaluates the beginning of the battle when Heimdall triggers into the horn to Gjallarhorn. The last battle of the gods and humanity will begin. The first battle begins, and they go to each other. Both are very relaxed. Thor and Luibui reduce the distance, and the tension is growing. Both of them are united by one fight strategy. They both defeat the enemy with one blow. Luibui strikes fist hit the first blow. However, Thor reflects it. The battle continues, and both try to defeat each other with one blow. Thor uses his special attack, an electric discharge, charges his hammer that is going to strike. The story about the past of Thor tells us, we're in Asgard, on the ground of the gods, once attacked the giants from Jotunheim. The giants invaded Asgard and ate everyone on their way. Then Asgard was really on the verge of destruction, but the strongest of the gods, Thor alone, killed all the giants at once, thereby saved Asgard from destruction. Returning to the present, Thor strikes Luibui with his hammer. Brunhild tells Kjell to watch, because from that moment the story will change. Luibui withstood the mortal attack and wounds Thor on his chest. Humanity rejoices. No one believes their eyes. Luibui has been looking for a strong enemy to hone his skill and traveled around Asia. Killed everyone who challenged him. While he was looking for a worthy opponent, his name spread throughout China. However, the number of his supporters continued to grow, and after a while Luibui realized that in the world, there was no one who would be equal to him. Once he was captured because he became bored when he realized that he was the strongest person in the world. He lost his desire living further. The battle continues, but the elder says that there is no such gun that could withstand the guns of the gods, but Zeus guessed that Brunhilde started something. However, it turned out that 12 Valkyrie decided to help Brunhild, and one of the Valkyrie decides to sacrifice her body to become an instrument of the gods. Valkyrie turns into a magic spear with which a person can hurt God and confront their relics. Luibui attacks Thor with his weapon. The spear can break up the shield, however. Turns out that Thor wears the gloves whose purpose was to keep the hands of the hammer and injuries, but the gloves could not stand it, and destroyed under the onslaught of spear. Zeus, and the rest of the gods will find out that Valkyrie rebelled against the gods. Zeus experiences a pleasant sensation, and catches a buzz on the battlefield. The Thor's hammer begins to melt and turns into lava. The sound of the pulsation of the Thor's hammer is suddenly heard, and it turns into a large pulsating hammer. Thor is covered with an axe, and is inspired to fight in full force. Brunhild takes out the phone, and finds out the full list of participants in the battles between the gods and people. Brunhild claims that these 13 people will soon become representatives of mankind and heroes. Since time, Thor and Luibwe enter the final stage of the duel and are not going to lose, tension grows. Thor waved its most powerful tool. Even the gods see this scene for the first time. Thor throws an axe into Luibwe. According to the epic, he threw an axe and crushed the skulls of the Jotuns. Thanks to mystical power, Mjolnir never missed 100 shots, and this time the axe flies past Luibwe. He attacks the defenseless Thor. However, the axe returns and attacks Luibwe's back. The axe returns to the Thor, but he threw an axe not to attack the enemy, but in order to deliver a final mortal blow due to the speed of the axe. Thor smiled slightly, and Luibwe met his smile grin. Luibwe stopped the attack of Thor, but at the cost of his resistance, he breaks the bones on both legs. But his faithful horse hurries to him, and Luibwe decides to sit on his horse and continue the battle. A horse named Red Hair. Luibwe trained for many years for his superhuman force, created a centrifugal force that was able to split the sky in half. Luibwe decides to use this technique on the Thor. Luibwe attacks Thor, and Thor throws his axe on the enemy. Both use their own deadly hazardous prima against each other. The intake of Luibwe. The Devourer against the hammer of the Thor crushes the heavens. An incredible sight occurs. The fans throw back, and the Valkyrie inside the spear breaks out and falls dead. In this battle, Luibwe tears his own hand as a sign of investing in his full strength. Luibwe makes the last jerk and rushes along with the hawk right at the Thor. Thor cuts his head with one wave of an axe. Luibwe loses this battle, and Torment ends in the first duel in 16 minutes. With the defeat of Luibwe, his supporters decide to pay tribute to him, but the sight of the gods ridicules the mortality of people. The horse of Luibwe and his assistant decide to go against the Thor in the afterlife for his leader. The Thor also decides to give respect to his friend and kills his supporters. The Thor against the whole wave of the Luibwe army, including Valkyrie. Thor turns them into crystals and offers their souls to the sky. Jel blames her sister for heartlessness, that they will never see the Valkyrie that fell in battle again. To which Brunhild reports for weakness. In the next duel for mankind, a person who hates the gods most of all will participate, nicknamed number 10 zeros in 1, the first man on earth, the father of all mankind Adam, the most beautiful man on earth. Heimdall announces the representative from the gods, the greatest Indian god, but they decided to change the fighter, and instead of the Indian god, Hermes acts. They touched the audience to tears with the performance of Bach's violin. No one expected such an unexpected turn, and instead of Hermes against Adam, Zeus himself will act. The god of Greek will act against Adam. Pantheon, to the music of Hermes, everything is impressed, and he performs a pre-trial melody under the exit of Zeus. The crowd rejoices in honor of his god of the Almighty Father. Here suddenly Zeus from a dead old man, turns into an inflated old man, and show all the power of his strength. Brunhild did not expect that Zeus himself would come out in the second duel, but it turns out that the god Shiva had to participate in the second match. Shiva insisted that he himself participated, but Zeus quickly calmed his ardor, to which Shiva calls Zeus to the duel. Shiva is surrendered, and inferior to Zeus, Ares, Hermes and Aphrodite observe behind the battle. Zeus threatens Adam with reprisal, but at that moment Pegasus appears, on which the shaft is writing Kyria, which at the same moment becomes a tied tool for Adam. They are reunited by touching the fingers, and Valkyrie becomes an instrument of Adam the brass knuckles. Heimdall announces the beginning of the second fight of Ragnarok. Adam plans to fight against Zeus. Adam is interested in Zeus with what weapon he will fight and threatens to fight, and threatens that he will regret his choice. Zeus has pounced on Adam, but he dodges. Zeus inflicts a series of blows. But Adam successfully evades every blow to the police. Zeus struck the blow, but Adam avoids calmness on his face again. Zeus strikes his foot, but Adam easily dodges. Adam wins Zeus over the millisecond, and inflicts a series of blows. Zeus dodges, and Adam hit him in thousands of blows, and inflicts him with a technique on Zeus's leg. Zeus enjoys the fight. Adam cope every single attack of the god, so he can copy and imitate all the techniques that he sees. The name of this force is called the image of God. Zeus begins to move quickly and tries to hit Adam, but he dodges. Adam copies the losses of Zeus, and hits him with his own technique. Zeus repels, and he falls. Zeus acquires an even more muscular shape and looks frightening. He is going to apply the reception of which he killed his father, Kronos, on Adam. Zeus always won the battles from that moment. He honed his skills and called this trick a fist of time. However, Adam manages to copy reception in a fraction of a second, and inflicts it to Zeus. Adam completely copied the technique of Zeus and knocks it out. Ares noticed that Adam knocked out Zeus, turning his head on 180 degrees. Hermes noticed how Adam copied the attack of Zeus, and inflicted his final blow to him. Zeus defeated. The second fight ends with the defeat of Zeus. Brunhild notes that Adam draws his strength out of hatred of the gods. There is a background in which Adam's past is told. One day everything changed. There was a trial of Adam's wife, where the great snake god accused Eve of the fact that she tasted the forbidden fruit, but due to the fact that there were only gods in the court, the court decided to recognize Eve guilty and expel from paradise. But at that moment Adam, with buckets full of apples, appears and bites one of them, then bites one after another, and one by one, the snake gets angry and turns into a monster. The serpent lurks on Adam, but he copies his reception and inflicts deaths to him. So Adam and Eve went down to the ground and lived for a long time, and happily after. Zeus does not give up and sets his head in place. Zeus does not feel, in the words of Adam, hatred to the gods, and Adam admits that he has no reason to hate the gods, and that he simply wants to protect all of his children. Zeus begins to destroy his own body and takes his last form. Adam unconsciously takes the combat stance. The secret reception of Zeus is called the divine blow of the right. But Adam dodges and copies his reception and strikes, but Zeus beats Adam, and he conducts counterattacks. Zeus continues to strike as if he obsessed. In one moment, due to the fact that Adam is strongly straining, his nose flowing, and if he continues to get so expanded, he will die. The body of Zeus is also at the limit, but they continue to fight. The battle continues, but Adam receives the blow, and Zeus inflicts a series of blows. Adam goes into defense, and here it turns out that Adam is almost blind. Zeus inflicts crushing blows one after another. Adam hears the cry of the child, and Adam and Zeus begins to beat each other even more deadly. The battle turns into a real massacre, but Zeus falls to his knees, and Adam dies in a battle rack. Everyone begins to grieve and Zeus becomes a winner. Brunhild learns about the third battle. From the side of the gods will be Poseidon, the elder brother of Zeus. Sasaki Katsuro volunteered from the side of humanity, samurai, who died 4,000 years ago. Heimdall announces the beginning of the third fight, and Poseidon comes out to the arena from the gods. The atmosphere becomes dressed up. From the side of humanity, Sasaki Katsuro. The code of the right scrolls at the head of the script of the attack, and notes that he has already been killed 18 times. Brunhild tells that there were 13 gods initially in Olympus, but Poseidon killed Adamas, his older brother. Adamas opposed Poseidon, because he refused to help him against Zeus. Adamas' life broke off when Poseidon looked at him in his eyes. Since then, no one remembered about Adamas because of fear from Poseidon, which gave him the status of true god of all 12 gods.